Hi everybody, welcome to What's in the Box. Today we're having a look at the Priory faction for Mythos from the guys over at Warcradle. In the box we are getting a complete faction to play the game. You can see just the faction logo on the front here, and if you hadn't guessed already, it's kind of a Cthulhu-esque HP Lovecraft style game. Flipping around to the back, we've got some 3D renders of the models here. So we've also got it lined out here along the bottom telling us who is who. So A is Kitty Page, B is Zachary Lazarus, C is Maharal, who's this big golem character, D is Zeus, who is our sort of werecat. Well, I'm calling it a werecat. It's bigger than your average house cat. Then we've got Bertie Smith, who's toting around the flamer, and the last one is Abigail Halsey with the pickaxe here. Now, once again, the packaging for this feels really nice, and I do want to keep the box back next to me just so I can tell who's who whenever I get stuck in here. First thing we get in our box, a little bit of advertising showing you some of the different games that the guys over at Warcradle work on. I didn't know they're doing a Bill and Ted game. That has me curious. I may have to look at that in the near future. Flipping around to the back, just some stuff for Wild West Exodus. Okay, what we get in the box. So obviously we get all of the bases we need. They are the nice Wild West Exodus style bases. So these right here, which have that nice little lip to them. Large and small. The large one, obviously, it's for your golem. Don't be silly now. And then we start having a look at our bits. So we get 3 baggies of bits in here. And if I'm right, this first one holds Maharal, or golem. So let's get a look at him. Details are nice and crisp. You can see they are using the in-house Warcradle resin. I will say, this particular type of resin takes super glue better than anything else I have ever seen. The way the joints are designed, they are nice, clean, and tight, so you get that nice thin contact point, so your hold is really good. So we've got his main body, we've got his leg. One of the components here has snapped off, which is actually the lamppost that he's carrying around to lump people with, but don't worry about that, because if you can see here, the connection point is so fine, it's not even an issue. Other than that, we have the other parts of him here. So we have his little bit of a loincloth here, and we have his 2 arms, and this one as well, which is holding the base of that lamppost. Now, one thing I will say is, whenever you're looking at the model, see all of the square and round pegs here? These are kind of monopose miniatures. They're designed to go together in a certain way, but when you build them that way, they go together really, really well. Let's have a look at the next miniature. Okay, so our next baggie contains the main bodies for Abigail and Kitty here. We've got a little sprue on here with, I believe that's Abigail's pick. It's the only thing that goes on to her. And these 2 components lock into the 2 arms here and here. We've then also got Kitty's weapons, so she's got her gun and a little wrench here. And in our last baggie here, we have all of the other components that we're going to need for them. So again, one of the components has already popped off, our little sprue. And here's our sprue here. So that is, now that's high heels. And if I remember correctly, because we did get 2 sets of these, so I've already got some of them built, those are for Kitty. And then these are Abigail's legs, a little book for Abigail. We've got Kitty's head here. And that is everything for these 2 miniatures. And I believe Kitty is a new miniature they added. In our next baggie, we have Zachary, and I believe it's Bertie. So we've got them cast on here. I believe this is one of Bertie's arms, and this is Zachary here. We then have another sprue. So this one has Zeus's main body. We have Bertie's flamethrower here, and we have Zachary's sword, which is a very, very delicate piece of resin. Now there's a little curve in this, but if you just dip it in a little bit of hot water, that is not a problem at all. So let's just keep everybody in here so you can see the components. In our last baggie, again, one thing they do which I quite like is any of the sprues that have a lot of small components on them, they go into their own little Ziploc bag. That way there's less chance of things getting lost. So as you can see, again, a little bit has already popped off the sprue because the casting point is so fine. So we've got Zeus's head, Zeus's legs. We've got Zachary's flaming magical component here. We've got Zachary's head and the detail on this head. They've actually sculpted him so that his glasses are there and there's actually a little bit of a recess in behind there. We've then got, I believe, Zachary's boot and a magical tome. Now, we did get sent 2 of each of these products, so I actually have everybody already built. So let's have a look at Maharal first. And you can see exactly what I was saying. He is monopose, but whenever you build him in this pose, you can barely see those joints. Everything just fits really, really nicely together. I think at most I might do a tiny little bit of filling around the back here, but once you have some paint down on this, you will not see that. Next up, let's have a look at little Zeus. So this is a small cat, and it actually does fight in game and can do some quite interesting little tricks. We then have Kitty, who is our new addition to the Priory, and again, super sharp detail, everything goes together beautifully, and you couldn't even tell how many components this was actually coming in to begin with. Next up, let's have a look at Bertie with his flamer. If I remember the old story right, I'm not sure if it's still the same. I think he was like a pilot or something who actually encountered some sort of mythos creatures, and yeah, you know, burn the squiggly thing. Burn it all day long. We then have Abigail. Very, very much the classic adventuring style here. We've got her little backpack on here, her little satchel, just looking really good. And the last one is, of course, my favorite, which is Zachary. He just looks like the old wise professor that's just rocking out going, oh, of course, I've found all of the secrets of the universe, and now I'm going to use them to save the world. Anyway, that is the Priory from Mythos. If you hadn't noticed, they're actually my favorite faction for this game, just because I love the aesthetic look of them. Anyway, I'll move on, get your comments in below, and I will see you again soon.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.